Hey folks, how's it going? How's it going? Sorry for the delay. Welcome. Welcome to the stream. How's everyone doing? We're watching Alexandra play round 7 of her tournament in Valencia, Spain. Game just started a couple minutes ago. We'll try to get caught up on the board soon. How's everyone doing? Good morning, good evening, good afternoon to those who celebrate. Hopefully you guys are having a good Friday. Morning. Grandmaster Igor? I don't know Grandmaster Igor Yannick. I don't know who that is actually. I apologize. I haven't heard the name. Unless that's a joke. It's too early. It's too early for the jokes for me. It's a little bit too early. 1 a.m. Nice. Shout out to 1 a.m. Okay, let's see, one sec. Oh, let's get some move sounds going before we get started. Thanks for following. Oh, I also need to get the alert boxes up. DM Hokey, thanks for subscribing. I think that coincided with someone following on Alex's channel, because that's not the sound we normally have. I think I heard our sound as well. That's funny. All right. Oh, third table, gray shirt on the left. Aha. Yeah, to be honest, I'm not familiar with the player, so I don't recognize him. Pass pawn, thanks for the 37 months. I don't know why they censored your username on the screen. I think it was maybe just too long. We basically have I'll catch you guys up on the game very soon. We have a Jobava London on the board, and nothing too dramatic has happened so far. Alex is starting to spend her time, but I don't think this opening is super super dangerous just yet. But we'll catch up on the board very soon. The game this morning was very sharp. No, I did not see it. It was it's during my my sleep hours, but I saw that she won. She told me it was pretty crazy. Maybe you guys can tell me more about it if you watched it. I know there was there was coverage, right? How long has the dojo been following Alexandra? That's a good question. Alex reached out to me a couple of weeks ago. We started doing some lessons, like on calculation. We did a lesson on the King's Indian. So it's a very, very fresh collaboration still. But yeah, this is my first time watching her play OTB. And it's also her first time playing OTB in a while, in like 3 years, I think she said. So she's definitely resting going into the tournament, but so far I think she's done absolutely fine. She has 3 out of 6. She won 3 games playing down. She lost 3 games playing up. So far it's been like huge mismatches, like hundreds of rating points both ways, right? So it's like it's been very tough for either player to try and generate some chances. This might be a bit closer today. Her opponent's FIDE rating is 2139. And their name, by the way, is German Maldonado. I don't know how to pronounce that actually. It's literally like I would say German, but I feel like he doesn't just go by German. So someone can help me with the pronunciation. I would really appreciate that. I can also just call him Maldonado. Accentuation on the A. Oh, so was German correct? German? Or is that hotter or colder? Hotter go. German. Hotter. Okay, very good. I'll just say Maldonado. I can say Maldonado. So he started with d4. This board is going to be, this is the live board. This is going to be on a 15-minute delay, so this is well behind. But I have her board up, and I can recreate the moves for us to get to the live position. So no huge deal here. But let's catch us up, and then we can start looking at the live board. So d4, knight f6 was played. Not sure the exact move order. We'll see, but essentially white played knight c3, d5, bishop f4. Alex played bishop f5, e3, e6. White played early knight b5 here, knight a6, and oh, actually, I think white played knight b5 first. Knight a6 was played, then e3. Black played c6, so this was the move order. Knight went back to c3. Then Alex had already been spending some time. She played this move, queen a5, which I'm not sure about, but might be okay. And then I think white played f3, and now she's gone e6. So she's definitely spent some time. Based on the clocks, she's already down to 1 hour and 19 minutes. I'm not sure exactly where she spent this time. Let's say up until this moment, like bishop f4, bishop f5, probably she already knew this. Unless she spent her time here. I'm not sure, but e3, c6, or sorry, not e3, knight b5. Knight a6 is, of course, automatic here. It's kind of just the only way to defend the c7 pawn. And so very, very typical move. I doubt she spent a lot of time on this one. e3, c6 also is quite natural. Knight c3, and then queen a5, maybe she started spending some time around here. OscarChess says she was late to the game. I don't think so, Oscar. I don't think so, because I was we were setting up the stream just before, and she was definitely at the board like several minutes before the game. So I don't think she could have been late. She was definitely there. Yeah, I saw them shake hands when the clocks were started. So what is the point of knight b5 if the knight is just going to get kicked? That's a great question. Oh, you saw it on Amaya's stream. Okay, then you might be right. I wasn't watching the whole time. So, but maybe they shook hands and then she like left, because she was definitely there. I guarantee you, she was there at the start of the round. But maybe she had to go to the bathroom or something. I don't know. Okay. But fair point. Okay, I guess she lost time, but that's useful. So Oscar, you're saying, was she like 10 minutes late, or is it just like a couple minutes, or you're not sure? Clock was already on. Yeah, I understand. So that makes sense. They must have started the game and then she went to walk around or go to the bathroom or something. So 3-5 minutes. Okay, 3-5 minutes is not a big deal. That means she spent about 3 to 5 minutes. Maybe more like, yeah, a solid 5 minutes on the board. Okay, and now white has played g4. And yeah, it feels like she wasn't expecting this move just based on her reaction. She seems a little surprised, but I imagine we're just going to see bishop g6 here. And yeah, definitely a question of whether she's still in her prep. It's really hard to say because this is round 2 of the day. So they didn't have a lot of time to prepare for this one. Also after the first game, like, you just want to go eat and rest. So I'm not sure how ready she is for the Jobava London. It's definitely a very, very popular opening these days. Has to be taken very seriously. But yeah, for the most part, we're going to be more familiar against like e4, d4. These openings are still, I think, very much being explored and getting used to. Paul had a question. Yeah. Sorry, Paul. I think I forgot to answer it. So the point of knight b5 is to force black to commit the knight to a6 instead of a better square. For example, d7 in the future would be a much more centralized square. And yeah, then white argues that black misplaces the knight. And then when you play c6 and knight c3, In many cases, black also wants to play c5 in these positions, and then if that knight was on b8, it would come out to c6. So here, like, the move c6 is perfectly fine for black structure, but in many cases, black just wants to play c5 anyway, so black is kind of going to have to give this tempo back, and white argues that now the knight on b8 is on a worse square. So there definitely is some logic to it. I don't think it's like a total game changer, because many times black just brings the knight back via c7, via e6, so black finds different avenues for this knight, but yeah, it is a very, very typical idea in this opening. Personally, as a King's Indian player, I would play g6 here and put the bishop on g7 and then play for the c5 break. And it's quite common here as well for white to play knight b5, knight a6, and then it's harder for black to get c5 and then knight to c6 here too. But all right, we're going to work on the openings with Alex. During the tournament, of course, it's very hard to learn a bunch of new stuff, but still, I would say you actually do learn a lot during the tournament, just preparing for the game, analyzing the game, and then, yeah. Getting a lot of motivation from the tournament afterwards. Okay, so bishop g6, h4 on the board, and someone is asking whether black wants to play h6 or h5 here, and that's a very good question, because very common question. I'm honestly not sure in this exact case. The main difference is that with h6, black is giving up more space, and with h5, black is allowing white to play g5 and kick the knight. So Alex went for h5. h6, I think, is playable as well, I would imagine. Usually both are kind of options in the position. Like in similar positions in the Caro-Kann, black can usually play both moves, like in the advanced Caro. But yeah, so h6 would allow white to play h5, and then eventually white always has this g5 break. White probably trades the bishops here. It's a very, very sharp position. I'm not clear at all which one is better for black or for white, like in either case. But both, I think, are quite complicated. But h5 played, g5 played quickly, because, yeah, white doesn't want to allow hg. White has no interest in taking and giving up squares, so g5 is a very, very logical push here. And Alex went back knight d7, which seems pretty reasonable to me. A lot of times the knight does go back to g8 and then e7 and then f5, because the f5 square is quite a nice square for black's knight, but I think that's mainly because the other knight is maybe on d7, and so this square isn't an option. So knight d7 to me looks a lot more logical. You can support c5 breaks, you can even support some e5 breaks. Bishop on e7 doesn't get blocked. So yeah, sharp position. I think evaluation still remains to be seen based on how the rest of the opening plays out, because they're still basically like, I don't know what I would call this, like mid-opening stage. Like, it's not exactly late opening for me, because both kings are still uncastled and lots of pieces are like undeveloped, so it still very much feels like the opening stage. So yeah, evaluation on this one remains to be seen. So far, white is playing pretty quickly, yeah, but I would say all of his moves have been very, very thematic for this opening. Knight b5, f3, g4, h4, g5. This is very, very typical stuff. But now he is actually thinking here, and my guess is that he is experienced in these positions, so he's played this kind of structure before, but he might not know this exact position, what Stockfish says is the best move for white. And that's not an invitation, folks, to start posting, oh, Stockfish says this move, by the way. No. It's not an invitation, right? We're trying to watch. I think it's more fun to watch the game without an engine, right? And to only consult it when you're just truly, truly very, very confused, about what's happening. But otherwise, it's more fun to kind of like see it along with the players. Doctors wants to play queen d3. Thank you. Thank you, Felix, for that. Very good. So yeah, there is Anna Maya next to AlexandraChess, by the way. She's also streaming. And then in the back, I don't know if you guys can see it because the view's a little small, but you got Pepe Cuenca. He's playing there as well. Grandmaster, very popular Spanish commentator. Okay, looks like we have a move a3. a3 feels thematic. It's stopping bishop b4. It's kind of playing a little bit against the queen on a5, knight on a6, right? It takes one square away from like potentially like 3 pieces that can use this square. But the drawback of a3 is that it is a hook for the future, you know, because many times white wants to castle queenside in this position, and if they do, now immediately they have to worry about bishop takes a3 sacrifices. They got to worry about b5, b4 ideas. So yeah, it's a big move. It's a big move. It makes me wonder if white wants to castle kingside, but castling kingside isn't exactly going to be safe either. So yeah, it's going to be a very sharp game. But I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing for us. I think Alex is a pretty sharp tactical player, and I think in a dynamic game she has very, very reasonable chances. Yeah, so the clocks on the screen, guys, they're going to be following the DGT board that they're playing with, which is actually 15 minutes delayed. We're just following the live board, like on video. So yeah, unfortunately the clocks aren't going to be accurate, but I'll try to keep you guys up to date. Right now, white has 1 hour and 28 minutes, and Alex is about 1 hour and 14 from what I can see. Her queen on a5 is kind of blocking the clock for me, but yeah, a little bit less time for Alex, but nothing to be worried about so far, because it's a complex position, and if you're out of book at this point, which I imagine both players probably are, you need to spend your time here, because it's you have a lot of choices, and it's not clear what to play. But not too much time. Not too much time, because it's at a certain point you just have to make decisions and go. Like bishop is probably going to e7, and you got to figure out where to put the king. King can maybe go queenside. It often does in this case, where it's not totally unsafe. There's a lot of pieces around, but I'm not totally sure that it can't go kingside as well. So yeah, but white's very likely going to play bishop d3, challenge these bishops at some point, or perhaps try to bring the knight to h3. That's another very typical plan for these positions. The bishop drops back, knight comes to f4, and then hits the bishop on g6. Excuse me. Is it obvious to me which way white should castle? Not really. No, it's not obvious. But I'm not a big Jobava London expert. I've never played this exact structure from either side. So I think I did play Jobava London once in Reykjavik Open against expert level player, like pretty decent player. But I just wanted to try something new, and he seemed like he had like a very solid repertoire, so I just wanted to kind of try something tricky. And yeah, I regretted it the whole game. I think I was worse out of the opening, worse in the middle game, and I ended up winning, in like the complicated, move 30 to 40 situation. But yeah, the whole time I was like, man, this opening it's not working. It's not working. But of course, the first time you play any opening, it's rarely going to make perfect sense to you, right? Any kind of new structure, unfamiliar structure, it's always going to be hard to play. That's why it's like, yeah, it's always, I think, a little misguided when people are like, oh, what's the best opening? What opening should I play? Like, it really doesn't matter like which opening you end up choosing. What matters is like getting enough experience in it so that you feel comfortable, you can handle the different situations that arise. You know, it's like, it's not the weapon you use, it's how you use it, right? It's how you use it. Yeah, the Jubava London in the hands of one player, it's like a very different opening than the hands of another. So yeah, understanding the plans and the ideas, indeed, very, very important. Is c5 good for black? c5 is definitely a very thematic move. So it is a move you're always, I think, should be considering in this kind of position because it allows you to fight for the center. In this exact moment, it's hard to say. It does feel like black is a little bit underdeveloped. Like, I'd rather figure out if I'm castling kingside first, you know, and then c5. I know I can go rook c8, but I don't know. Maybe this is a position where you can also just play with your king in the center. But c5, yeah, you would worry about like knight b5 coming back. Not right away, because I'm pretty sure this move is illegal. Yeah, okay, that's good to confirm. The knight is pinned, but eventually, yeah, you might get hit with some knight b5, you know, and then that would not be great. But I don't know. I don't see anything so wrong with the move straight away. Yeah, that's why Alex is thinking. In fact, it does look like she's kind of staring at the queen side. So I wonder if she's considering this move. Maybe this move also, like b5, b4, could be a thing at some point. But I don't know. Maybe you'd want to wait for queen d2. No, c5 played. c5 played. Chat called it. c5 on the board. And yeah, I don't really see a huge drawback to this one right away. Knight is pinned. If white goes queen d2 to unpin the knight and play knight b5, well, then white's trading queens, and that's going to be not super, super scary for black anyway. So, okay, c5 on the board, and we'll see how German considers his options. Oh, let me add the alert box. Hold on, one sec. Copy, paste. There we go. Okay, so c5 on the board. Oh, I got a new shirt, by the way, folks. Got a new shirt. It's a French shirt for the Grand Chess Tour. Man, I gotta really stand up. It says Ishek, Shak, Chess. I don't know what it means, but it's it's French. And yeah, we were celebrating the 15th. We were celebrating a lot of things actually yesterday. Yesterday was International Chess Day, and it was also the 15th anniversary celebration of the St. Louis Chess Club, which was a lot of fun. They had a lot. It was like an in-person fair. It was great. They had face painting. I got my face painted. I think it's gone now. I washed it off, but I got a big black rook on the side of my face. And there was ice cream, and there was duck chess. I got a duck as well. There was a lot of duck chess. And there's piece painting as well. I got to paint a little chess piece, so that was cool too. Yeah, échec I think is the French word for chess. Yeah, OTB duck chess, exactly, because you need a duck for OTB. So this little guy, they did a really good job with it. You know, it's like it's like a rubber ducky. It's like it floats, you know, like a classic rubber duck, and then it fits perfectly like on a square. But yeah, FIDE is a French acronym, right? Fédération Internationale des Échecs. Oh, we have a move, huh? Bishop b5, I think, played. So white exploits the b5 square in a different way. And this move is somewhat annoying because black now has to think about bishop takes d7, king takes d7, which may not be such a big deal, but at least it's always on our mind. Is FIDE based in Switzerland? Yeah, I think that's where their offices are. But I forget where. Geneva? Lucerne? Is Lucerne a city? Let me ask the original AI, aka Google. Where FIDE office? Lausanne, Switzerland. Ah, that's the French-speaking part. That's right. Switzerland's very close to France. I've been to Switzerland. I've been to France a couple times, and I've been to Switzerland once. And it was I've been to Basel, which was very nice. Really enjoyed it. Very nice food and chocolate and everything. It was very pretty. And then yeah, that's very close to France, I think. President Arkady Dvorkovich. You guys want to know the FIDE positions? President Arkady Dvorkovich. Deputy President Vishy Anand. And wait, where's the rest? They showed me 2 and now I don't see the rest. Oh, that's it. That's it. Yeah, bishop b5 played, and now Alex is thinking she's down under an hour and 10 minutes. But yeah, it's a complicated position, so it's time to start thinking. Right, her ratings here I believe are FIDE 1859, 2139 for the opponent. Yeah, I'm honestly not sure, guys, if this is a threat. This is definitely what I would be thinking about. Like, do I need to think about rook d8 here, or can I just go bishop e7, rook c8? Like, rook c8 to me would be the most principled move. Like, I don't care what white is doing. I just want to improve my rook. I'm threatening now to take and take here, possibly, in some cases. Even there, actually, bishop d2. Oh, bishop d2, rook e3 check, king. Okay, I don't know. I don't know if rook takes e3 is a threat. Who knows? But, you know, it's the move I want to make, right? It's the move I want to make in the position. But then, of course, we have to think about takes. But I don't see the huge danger here. If we just put it on the board. Again, I don't know these positions. So maybe we just get cracked with e4, dc, like, who knows, really. But, I don't know. First instinct is like bishop e7, rook d8, king drops back, and feels like maybe black can fight. But it's really not obvious to me. Really not obvious. Rook d8 might be a move as well. If we're concerned, we can do this one. And I'd wonder what the plan is for white from here, because we want to go bishop e7, castles, and just say so what. Feels like now that white played bishop b5, they really are trying to bring that knight to f4 eventually, but black will have time to deal with that. If white takes on c5, is there any b4 fork? Yeah, that's a good question. I was hoping no. I was hoping no, but it's not so. Yeah, it's not so clear. Let's say rook c8 takes. Bishop takes. See ya, Felix. Thanks. B4. Normally it would just be like knight b4 takes, bishop, you know, it'd just be brutal. But the rook on the a file actually makes this very annoying for black. But let's say this way, right? And then this. And then probably we're winning back the piece here. Or something. There's knight e2. But this would be very complicated. This would be extremely like unclear. Takes, let's say, takes. Can't go queen d2 because of the rook, right? So king has to go somewhere. And then there's like bishop takes c2. So here black is down in exchange, but it's now 3 pawns, so black is not even down material. But the position is extremely complicated regardless. So it's not really about if we have enough pawns or not. It's really just about like whose king is gonna get out and whose pieces. Because if white's king gets safe and the rooks come to the c file, like it's black that's gonna be dead lost, right? So basically I have no idea at this point about all these complications. It's very, very sharp though. I intuitively felt like I thought black should be okay there, but it is something to consider. It's not immediately obvious either way. Concepts of king safety are very strange in this position. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's the thing about these dynamic positions. It's like you have to work a lot to try to figure them out. You can't really just rely on classic knowledge. You know, like when you play like Queen's Gambit Declined, Rui Lopez, like your king is just castled kingside. Both kings are safe. You know, nothing crazy happens, right? In this position, one mistake, you know, and that's it. And I think we will see some serious swings. You generally do in these kinds of situations, unless one side just completely blunders it away. Rook state's not on the board. It's still black to move in this position here. And yeah. Oh, we're about to get a move. Queen d8. Okay, queen d8 doesn't feel right, of course, because we're undeveloping the queen. So I'm wondering why Alex thought she had to play this one. There is some good news, folks. The good news is that we can now see the clocks very clearly, and we can see that Alex has an hour and 1 minute left, 30 seconds. Time control is 90 plus 30. No second time control, 30-second increment. We are down on the clock quite a bit now, like 25 minutes. But it's a very sharp position, and we still have an hour, so that's still a lot of time. So queen d8 obviously dealing with the threat of bishop takes d7. Yeah, but I guess my question is why queen d8 and not rook d8, right? If we're worried about this one. Yeah. Not sure. Maybe if we analyze this game later, that'll definitely be an important question for after the tournament. But yeah, queen d8. The thing is, this is how little I know about these positions. It's still not clear to me that like, oh, white's better now. I mean, of course, I don't think this is the right move. And either this isn't the right move here or queen a5 was incorrect earlier, right? Like one of those moves must have been bad because it's very rare that you develop a piece and then undevelop it, right? It's as if we lost 2 full moves. So it's really unlikely black gained anything good from this, right? But I honestly don't know whether queen a5 originally was kind of dubious, like the queen should have never been on a5 in the first place, or if queen d8 now is an incorrect move. My gut feeling is that queen a5 earlier was fine, and then queen d8 here was unnecessary. That said, I still don't feel like white's position is that amazing. Yeah, possibly she was worried about b4. Maybe this dc5 thing, you know, concerned her. Actually, that's That's a very reasonable theory, I would say. That she saw DC5 coming and then B4, and then she wasn't ready to just sacrifice a piece. And to be fair, I mean, I wasn't totally, like, it's not my game, so I was like, yeah, rook C8, you know, whatever takes, bishop takes, things should work out, B4, and I'm like, yeah, you know, like, whatever. I'm sure this will be fine. We're, you know, hitting this guy. So yeah, this line is by no means easy to understand or evaluate. So from this point of view, I can definitely understand queen d8. Like, if you believe that dc5 is about to win a full pawn, I mean, you can't allow dc5 and then b4. Then we're just down a pawn for nothing, right? So I think maybe that's why she went queen d8. And honestly, with that logic, it's really not that bad of a move to me. Because both sides have lost time. White played knight b5, knight a6. Black played c6, c5. White made a lot of moves like pushing on the king side, like g4, g5. So, you know, there are other commentators. I won't name names, but, you know, they work with me on ChessDojoLive's channel. And they're senseis and title players. So I won't name names. But, you know, they see one loss of a tempo and they're like, oh, game over. Someone lost the tempo. Just stop the clocks. Stop the clocks. My heart can't handle. Someone lost the tempo. Stop the clocks, you know. But chess is a concrete game. Sometimes, you know, you're giving up a tempo. Both sides are giving up tempo. Like, it's still a sharp position. And if white doesn't have a direct way to exploit it, then things can still work out. So, you know, I don't think giving up a tempo is always, it's not ideal. Obviously, it's not the end of the world, right? It's a spectrum. It's a continuum. It's a continuum. In closed positions, it matters less. In open positions, it matters a lot more, right? Right? So it always kind of depends on the situation. It's not, oh, you lost the tempo. End of conversation. Okay. Well, white's at play. He's spending time here, so that's good. So, let's see, it is morning time, so I still have my breakfast to get to, guys. The tempo fiend. There's two tempo fiends, in fact. That's the funny thing. They're both tempo fiends. They're both obsessed with it. Tempos are important, but, you know. They're not insane. Does anyone know the price of one tempo? How much does one tempo usually go for? Anyone know? Trivia, chess trivia. How much does a tempo typically cost? Anyone know? Who's up to date on their Soviet chess school? 1/3 of a pawn. Very good, Nightmare. Very good. Exactly. Yeah, that's kind of the classic logic, right? A pawn is worth 3 tempi, therefore a tempo is worth about 1/3 of a pawn. Very good. You guys didn't think about it like that, huh? But yeah, but that's just a rule of thumb. That's just a rule of thumb. That's a general guideline. In open positions, one tempo could be the difference between +10 and +0. You know, is worth a little bit more than one pawn. In closed positions, it could literally be worth 0.00. Like, you can pass the move to the opponent, literally do nothing, and the evaluation doesn't change. Or like move back and forth, and the evaluation is exactly the same. So it really does depend on the position. But okay, if you want like a rule of thumb, like a starting point, about 1/3 of a pawn. 1/3 of a pawn, exactly. Folks, if you look at your screens, you can see fellow streamer Hannah checking out Anna Maya's game. There's a couple streamers at this tournament. We got Alex, Anna Maya, Hannah Sacy, Lily. Pepe Cuenca's there, although I don't think he's filming his games. He's just playing the tournament like you know, typical chess player, doesn't bring tripod, camera, streaming equipment. Just shows up with a pen, hopefully. Is c4 ever an option? It could be. I wouldn't be totally shocked by c4. Generally, though, you would need a very specific reason to play this move, because white's probably just going to take on d7. If you go c4, like white will trade the bishop off, and play from there. So white's not super worried about the bishop. The bishop can always be traded off. The question is if c4, we're giving up a lot of our pressure, right? Because the pressure against d4 is very important here. If there wasn't this pressure here, white would be playing e4 soon and blasting things open in the center. And that could be very scary. But with the c-pawn here, it makes it very hard for white to play e4, because then black can take, and let's say queen takes, black gets squares for the pieces. I don't know if you can really get away with this right away, but you know, here black gets centered counterplay, central counterplay. Queen b6 maybe. I don't know, who knows? This could be an option too. In fact, this doesn't look like so horrible for white. Maybe black shouldn't take on d4, but it still makes it a little bit trickier for white to push. Okay, looks like we have a move. Knight h3 played, which is very thematic for this kind of position. Sometimes knight moves in via e2 as well, but I don't think there's anything wrong with knight h3. Queen can use the e2 square, for example. But from here, the plan is definitely to maneuver the bishop to g3 and then bring the knight to f4. Now that's become extremely clear. Or it could be bishop h2, because on bishop g3, let's say black makes some move here. Let's say we keep making moves. Takes here. There's always bishop d6 at the end and creating this pin. That said, there's still dc5. So these positions are very, very complicated. Okay, knight c7 played. So Alex, I'm glad played this one pretty quickly. And it makes a lot of sense. It's challenging the bishop on b5. And yeah, now there's questions here. Number one, like knight b5 might not even be something black wants to allow. But maybe it is. Maybe we are threatening. Let's say bishop drops back, takes. Can we do this? No, this is super annoying, right? Rook c8, white can just take on a7. Or give knight d6 check. Knight d6 is also going to be very unpleasant here. Takes, and then this dark-scored bishop is all up in our business. You know, real wooden shield. So the good news is that black can still go a6 and kick the bishop away. But feels like white actually played bishop e2 here pretty quickly. So he seems to know what he's doing. He brings the bishop back, not wanting to trade it away. That makes sense. I mean, the bishop is good. And now white can argue that black's knights are a little bit funny here. And white still wants to go bishop g3, knight f4, and hit the bishop on g6. So still some questions here for black. The knights are impersonating pawns. Yeah, a little bit. Okay, how to develop from here? Because now white wants bishop g3, knight f4. Queen a5 is a novelty according to chess.com's database. Yeah, queen a5 probably, maybe not the best move there. Oh yeah, that's a good point, Andy. That's a good point. Yeah, had white played this one, there would have been knight takes b5 takes, and then queen a5 check. That's exactly right. Forcing the knight to go back, but then this isn't a problem, and yeah, then this is like totally fine for black. Even though the queen goes back to a5, okay, white also lost time, so don't make me get the tempo speech out again, okay, guys? So yeah, so that's why white drops back. So this was definitely a very real positional threat, because then you win the bishop pair, so that's pretty serious. So bishop e2. Now black to play. If we just do normal, like let's say bishop e7, bishop g3, castles, knight f4. This is the big question for black, like how to deal with this thing. This is really not obvious. We would like to be able to play knight f8 in this position, but we can't, because then we'd be eating our own rook. Even if we could, we wouldn't want to. So yeah, and we definitely don't want to allow this, because that would be very weakening, very troublesome. Yeah, so if there's no easy move here, which there doesn't appear to be because the h-pawn is also hanging, right? That means we can't just play normal moves, which is sad. Normally you want to just be able to play normal moves, you know? Yeah, we're gonna have to think about this one, how to develop. We just started, Charlie. We just started, but good to see you. Good to see you. You know, we just did a couple lessons. We haven't set out like a official coaching plan or anything like that. But who knows? I mean, so far I think the collab has been going well, and I'm definitely rooting for Alex. I feel like she's very serious about her chess and wants to improve. So I'm super interested in helping her. E5 I'm not sure about. What would be the plan after DE, right? Because then D5 is also going to be weak. Okay, she took, yeah. And now CD. Bishop E7 is logical, but I was just explaining that the problem with this one is that if white goes, let's say, drops back, or let's say drops back here, castles, and then goes knight f4. This is the issue that black is dealing with, this pressure here. So this is why Alex is not really super comfortable, because I think she kind of sees this coming and isn't sure what to do about it. So takes is played, which I think is fine. But yeah, we still have to deal with this threat. But there are ways. So for example, this could be a move, followed by g6. Let's say bishop goes somewhere. No, not there. Yeah, let's say bishop h2. Bishop takes h3. Alex wins. Let's go. GG. 0-1. Bishop g3. And then, because I'm putting the bishop on h2 because I'm trying to avoid bishop d6. And then, you know, you always have g6 you could go g6 here. I'm not sure. This doesn't look terrible to me from black's point of view. I could be wrong. but it doesn't look horrible. Because like if knight f4, then bishop d6, and then we castle, and king is reasonably safe. I mean, bishop can defend the dark squares. Looks like she played a6. a6 is very slow here. And my concern is that I don't know what she's going to do about the knight f4. So if white drops back here, like bishop h2 or bishop e3. No, not if the bishop goes this way, then bishop d6. Black can start developing comfortably. But yeah, so if bishop goes back to h2, knight comes to f4. Maybe she can play it here, bishop f5, knight f4, g6 like this. This I think is playable. But I don't quite get the idea behind a6, because we need to figure out the king side first. Like b5, b4, this counterplay, this we can do later, or like maybe when white has committed the king. But for the moment, I think like finishing development is more important than doing any kind of b5 thing. So yeah, a6, having a hard time totally understanding here. But I am happy that she played it relatively quickly, because Alex definitely has had a tendency to spend a lot of time when she doesn't know what to do. And in this kind of position, if we run into time trouble, like it's going to be really, really tough. So at a certain point, you have to just kind of make a decision. You can't just like think for 20 minutes, make a move, think for another 20 minutes, you're just going to run out of time. So a6, it's probably a better move than just sitting and doing nothing for 10 minutes. And then playing like bishop e7 or something like that. So in terms of the time usage, we're doing okay. Hour and 15 for white, 54 minutes for black. Now he's going to have to figure out what to play here. Queen d2 is very logical. I also feel like just posing the question, bishop h2, knight f4. Like, because the knight on h3, of course, it wants to get back into the game. Maybe the intention for white was to play knight f2. Bring the knight in this way. Personally, I'd be happy to see that. But, yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of more concerned about this one, to be honest. But we'll see. I don't think it's really that... I don't think it's so dangerous for black just yet. Like, bishop h2, I think we still have time for this. And g6. Like, to my eyes, I don't see how white kills this here. Against... person of grandmaster status, I would certainly be a little bit nervous, but, we're not exactly playing 2500 here. So I feel like the position should still be a big fight. It'd be really nice for black to transfer the knights to like d6 and c6. Like, if we could do that, then the knights would stand really well. Didn't realize how often people got up. Yeah, on OTB, people stand, because it's like, you have 90 minutes on your clock, you're there for a couple hours, and you're sitting, your posture's not always great, your hips start to hurt. So yeah, it's helpful to get up and move around. In fact, I feel like I should do that more often during streams. Actually, maybe I will take a quick break, guys. We've been on for about an hour. Alex is up walking around. I feel like my hips could use it as well. Meanwhile, white is thinking. All right. We'll take a quick break, get up, stretch our legs, come back, continue the commentary. See you guys soon. Alrighty, we're back. What happened? We have some moves, right? Bishops got traded. Okay. Knight f4 was played. So it was rook c8, knight f4. And then it was bishop f5, bishop d3, looks like. So Alex went here, and then white spends a tempo. Bishop d3. Call the tempo police. Did you guys call the tempo police? Bishop d3, white lost the tempo. Did they stop the clocks? I think you're supposed to stop the clocks. Call the tempo police. White lost the tempo. Oh, you did. Okay, good. Good. Because that pays the tempo back that Alex gave up earlier with. All right, bishop d3 takes was played. Queen takes. And now I think it's Alex to play in this position. Oh, that's true. We also lost a tempo with bishop f5, didn't we? That's a good point. That's a good point. Okay, now we have this situation. This is tricky actually. I can see why white played bishop d3. This I feel like might have been a very strong move in fact, because after takes, white would like to go g6 here and start to target the structure. And if we play g6, you guys have probably already been thinking about this, we're just going to get popped. This is going to be really dangerous. I'm not sure if it's immediately losing, but I would be super scared here as black, because the king looks very unsafe. Yeah, maybe white just castles, like rook e1 next. I mean, I would try to defend. But this would be very concerning. I don't know. Maybe with this queen e8, it's not like super obvious that white is doing well here, but I would be very scared. Just like simple, like castles, queen e8, even bringing the queen back, and then like rook comes to e8, f4, f5. It feels very dangerous. Like the king has no safe haven here. It's very hard to escape to a comfortable spot, and white's attack is just looming. So g6, yeah, it's a really tough move to play here for black, I would think. But otherwise, white is playing g6, and that's going to be an issue. Maybe bishop d6 here is the next move to consider. I feel like with bishop d6, you can at least target the bishop on g3. And then I don't know. Is f5 a thing? F5 is very weakening. You guys, is bishop d6, knight takes h5 a thing? You guys with your things, you know. You're like, is this a move? Tell me if this move is good or bad. It's like, I don't know, guys. I don't know. We have to analyze. F5 is very weakening though, so maybe not. But if it was good, then it would be a good move to play. But yeah, bishop d6, knight takes h5 might be a concern. That's for sure. Yeah, that kind of refutes it. I think that's more than a thing. That's going to be a straight up refutation. That's just a pawn. So yeah, bishop d6 is out. But then what? I guess bishop e7 is the next move. So that allows g6. Now black has to make some tough decisions. Maybe here. Yeah, unfortunately there was no queen g5. That would have been great. That would have been really nice. But yeah. Yeah, I don't know what to make of this, because now it'd be very hard to castle. We're losing the h5 pawn, and white can just castle queenside, start putting rooks on the e file, and causing a lot of damage. So this is looking very scary. Somehow I feel like there should be a way to keep this playable. Maybe knight b6, followed by bishop d6 like this. And then knight can come to c4. So if knight b6, G6, F6, castles, bishop D6. Yeah, it doesn't feel like it's gonna work. It doesn't feel like we're gonna really get anywhere in time here. So that's not really an option. How about instead of bishop f5, bishop d6? Yeah, I think knight h5 is still actually an issue, unfortunately. So I think it kind of stems from this a6 move, right? Like, we definitely had time to play this in g6 earlier. I don't know how much of a difference that would have made, but let's say here, here, and this. Then white's not in time to get all this going. Like, let's say here, we take it, we go bishop g7, and then either we castle, or if bishop d6, you know, we can do this one. And then king gets to g7, and then once the king gets to g7, I think black is actually reasonably safe. It's not the easiest position to play. White will still have ideas like f4 and bringing the knight to the e5 square, but yeah, that I think is still playable. So my feeling is our issues really started taking off with this move, and yeah, now, yeah, then we played rook c8. And I think Alex just didn't anticipate that this was going to be a problem, which is hard to do. Like, you don't really expect your opponent to play bishop d3 and just lose a tempo, but it's very logical from White's point of view now that we see queen d3 on the board. And looks like she played g6, and honestly, I don't hate it, because like, this isn't immediately, it's not obviously winning for White. And then if he doesn't take, so he's going to spend a lot of time considering it, of course. If he doesn't take, then black's position might end up okay. If we can get bishop g7 and castles in, you know, we'll be quite all right. And then if he does take, I don't think things are actually that clear there. So yeah, he's in full, he's calculating 100%, because this is a very, very clear candidate for a sacrifice. And intuitively, I felt like it should be quite reasonable for White, but it's not. It's really not that easy. So we were looking at knight takes g6 earlier. Queen takes, king e7. And then here, White would have to come up with a very strong move, because queen e8 is coming. And black can try to fight back a little bit and get the king to d8. So this is where White would need a move. Yeah, from White's point of view, it's very principled to take on g6. Yeah. That said, yeah, let's say he castles. So Oscar's saying if castles and bishop g7, there's still going to be knight takes g6, which is very possible. Hey, we got a raid from Eric Rosen. Thank you, Eric. We're watching AlexandraChess play live here, actually streaming on both channels, Dojo and AlexandraChess. In fact, let me. Oh, thanks for the shout out. Yeah. So she's playing round 7 of this tournament in Valencia. Eric's also at a tournament, right? Eric's in Biel in Switzerland. We were just talking about Switzerland. and how it's next to France. And we had some very intellectual discussions on that, on its location. Hopefully you're doing well. Oh, Eric lost today. I'm sorry to hear that. That's too bad. Well, best of luck for the rest. And yeah, this game is heating up. We have the live position here on the screen. And Alex, our hero, just played g6, kind of out of necessity, because otherwise White was going to play it. And now we're really wondering whether... actually, this is the live position here. White hasn't castled. We're wondering whether White is going to take on g6 right away, or castle first and then consider taking. Dang, 14-year-old I am. 24-36. That is strong. That is strong. Yeah. So the DGT board, it's actually on a delay. I'm following the live position from the camera. Let me give you guys a link to the game if you want to follow it, and I'll pin it for the Dojo chat. I think they already did something similar for Alexandra's chat. Is that Anna Maya in the background? It is. Actually, there's a bunch of streamers at this tournament. There's Anna Maya, Hannah's there, Lily Kridzy's there. So, yeah, a lot of players at this event. Vampire Chicken spoke with Eric Rosen. Nice. Nice. I know them. I know them. Okay, White's still thinking here. Alex is playing German Maldonado here, who is 2139 FIDE from Spain. She's on 3 out of 6, so she's won 3 games playing down, lost 3 games playing up. The typical Swiss system, roller coaster. And yeah, now, the pressure's on, right? You're on the DGT board. It's on camera. It's not easy to just take on G6. But of course, this is what White is kind of building up for. Time control is 90 plus 30 for these games. No second time control. So 90 minutes to start, 30-second increments. Right now, up to you guys on the clocks, White has 1 hour and 3 minutes. It's his turn. Alex has 37 minutes, 50 seconds. So she's quite a bit down on the clock. But I don't really mind because her position has been pretty difficult. And when you have a tough position, it's better to spend time and not blunder versus playing quickly and blundering, right? So it's not an ideal situation in terms of the clock, but the thing is, I feel like, the game is going to get very critical here soon. And if she's able to castle or develop in a couple moves, then the position simplifies a lot and she can start making faster moves. But if White takes on G6 here, of course, the game is going to get tremendously complicated and things will be decided basically in the next couple moves. I don't know which way, but they'll be decided. Castling kingside is good for Black, right? If Black is given time to go bishop G7 and castles, then yes, I think Black would definitely want to do that. The problem is White is looking to sacrifice on G6 here at some moment, either right away, or perhaps we were thinking about castles first, bishop G7, and then knight takes here. So this one, I'm not sure what's going on here. Queen takes, king F8, and I don't totally have a good evaluation for this position. There's bishop D6 check, but king will go to G8, queen will come to E8. So far, it's only 2 pawns for Black. We do want to defend this guy, right? Yeah, to continue the line, let's give check. And takes, right? Because then white can take here and even take on d5. But let's take with the queen. Queen takes e6 check. Let's go king f8. There's no knight takes d5, right? Because we've got the queen takes c2 mate. There's queen takes d5. So that would be like 3 pawns for the piece. It's definitely a lot of pawns. Sorry, 4 pawns for the piece. I meant to say 4. I said 3. But my brain was like 4 pawns. That's a lot. 3 pawns is normal. 3 pawns, it's like it's going to be about equal, generally speaking. But 4 pawns, yeah, 4 pawns is a lot. And the king is weak, of course. The king is still weak. So yeah, I definitely think white is better here. I don't think it'd be completely losing, but I do think white is better. But right now we have, none of this has happened yet, right? We're just analyzing, Right now we have this position. So it's queen d3 and then g6. Oh, sorry, bishop is on g3, not h2. Excuse me, guys, excuse me. So it's here, rook c8, knight f4, here, takes, take. Because this is very important. Earlier we were looking at bishop d6, which doesn't work because of knight takes h5. So g6, so this is the position, And now, yeah, white is thinking about either taking or castling somewhere. And playing from there. You could also castle kingside here. Like, I don't think kingside castling is bad. Because here the rooks also get in. White's king, I think, is reasonably safe. And white can still think about castling and then... or taking on... White's already castled. White can think about taking on g6 and then pushing, like, the f-pawn. So... Castling here also quite reasonable. So I would say 3 candidate moves. Castles kingside, castles queenside, and knight takes g6, double exclam. Those are the 3 options. Oh, we have a move. King f2. King f2. A 4th option enters the arena, folks. King f2. It's probably fine. A little unnecessary. Because I mean, king is going to g2 most likely. King looks safe there. But if you had just castled, the king can still go to g2 and you get your rook like ready to push the f-pawn. Yeah, I'm a little confused by king f2. Well, bishop d6, I think the problem still knight takes h5. That's going to be the issue here still. Oh, maybe castles bishop d6. Fair enough. But knight takes g6, right? So if takes, of course, we win this one. Or knight e6 actually is simpler. Knight takes e6 is simpler. Because then there's not even a bishop takes g3 here. Yeah, this would be a lot easier for white. So no, there's still no bishop d6. So I think white could have castled, or queenside castled, or I mean, yeah, this was definitely a reasonable option. King f2 I wasn't expecting. I don't know if it's probably not bad, but yeah, I just wasn't expecting it. And yeah, I mean, clearly he didn't want to commit to the piece sack because knight takes g6 wasn't clearly winning, at least not to my eyes. Because a lot of players would go for this, like sack and then castle, and then just play. You know, rook e1, f4, rook f1, f5. So this was very reasonable, but this isn't like a clear situation here. Like I had a tough time evaluating this one. Like there's queen e8, for example. And then, yeah. Well, it's just concrete position. It's a concrete position, right? So it's not really a matter of evaluating things. White clearly has a strong attack, but whether it's a winning attack, unclear attack, black is slightly better if they find the best moves. That's still just a very concrete question. I would imagine this is why, again, I don't know the evaluation here, and I'm not asking for it, folks. I'm not asking for it. This is an engine-free commentary, right? We're looking at the position with our human eyes so we can kind of get a better feeling for what the players are actually going through, and it's also just kind of more interesting this way. Yeah, so queen e8 I think is likely the move that White was concerned about in this kind of variation, because he was spending quite a bit of time calculating. He was clearly analyzing this, and if you don't see what to do here as White, then that's going to be a concern, because it feels like, okay, we lose time, we have to pull our queen back. Is there even another move other than queen d3 here? Right? It doesn't seem to be. And then black can at least get king d8 and so on. Yeah, so that's why this was not exactly an obvious sack. I would definitely go for this if, let's say, this move did not exist. If black had to play anything else, then I would think, yeah, it looks very promising for White. Like, it's just so many ideas. So many ideas. Okay, so king f2 on the board. Now Alex is spending time, 32 minutes. So yeah, we can move the bishop here, but we have to make sure we don't allow the sack. Yeah, tough position. Tough position. So there's this move. There's this move. So bishop d6 here, knight takes h5, right? And we're just losing a pawn. But maybe, you know, that might be the best we can do, right? Like, let's, let's keep that in mind. Let's not discard it. Let's just keep that in mind. So this one loses a pawn. Sometimes you're like analyzing a position. The first move you look at loses a pawn. So you're like, okay, I can't play that. But then everything else ends up losing like way worse, right? You already discarded the first option and you don't realize that might have actually been because this position, just hear me out, guys. Just hear me out. This position here, we're down a pawn. Here, I don't think black loses like immediately. Because we have this like knight b5 thing, and like this is an extra pawn for White, but it's not like just immediately resignable position. So it's something to keep in mind. These bishop moves, I would definitely be concerned about getting sacked on. Oh, bishop d6 played. Bishop d6 played. Interesting. So I think she knows what she's doing here. I think she's purposefully sacrificing the pawn. But I think she's very concerned because otherwise, like, if you play here, for example, yeah, let's say white takes. This is definitely what I would still be very concerned about. And then yeah, bishop c7 is still a thing. Let's say this one. Queen takes e6. Uh-oh. He took on h5, but Alex seemed a little surprised by it. Oh no. She's not happy to see this one. I don't think she's happy, but that's because I was thinking this might be a reasonable move just to not fall into that super crazy attack. I don't know for sure, but I thought this move is actually reasonable. But based on her reaction, yeah, I don't think she saw knight takes h5, which is not good. That's not great. Of course, we wanted to anticipate this one. So in her mind, because the psychology here is very important. In her mind, she's like, uh-oh, I blundered a pawn. And that's bad. It's like panic is setting in. But a better mindset would be like, I'm sacrificing the pawn so that I have like a playable position. And then you can look forward to the future with confidence. But yeah, kind of depends on whether you saw it coming or not. Yeah, you have to take on g3 here. Rook h5, bishop d6. White's dark squared bishop is just very, very strong. And I'd be very nervous about this. So, yeah, that also leads me to believe she missed it, because if she had seen it, or she had expected this coming, then, you know, she would have had her answer ready here and just played bishop takes g3. So I don't know. But it was a tough choice. Clearly she was okay with getting sacked on earlier, but yeah, here definitely was concerned about all these moves. Okay, bishop takes g3 on the board, knight takes g3 played. Yeah, and that other line, Aman, if takes in here, I don't think we get enough threats. Bishop here. And yeah, I think we're kind of out of it. Rook h8. Not bad as well. I was just trying to defend, but yeah, it doesn't work. So takes on the board. Now we need a move here for black. We need a move. I was thinking knight b5 earlier. But knight b5, white can simply take, go c3. And yeah, we're still down a pawn, and we didn't really achieve a whole lot. Aman, you're obsessed with this rook takes h4. Unfortunately here it's just a one move threat, you know. White has a lot of ways to defend against it. Yeah. So what else? What else? We really would love to bring the knight to d6. Yeah, so there's a couple options. There's this one back here. There's this one here. Ideally, maybe we get both knights. If we had a knight on f5, then I would feel like black can at least fight. Rook c4, so on. Yeah, it's a tough position, guys. It's a tough position. But what to do? Gotta make moves. Ooh, 25 minutes for Alex. Okay, now the clock is starting to dwindle, and we really gotta get a move on. Well, white's planning f4 and h5. That's kind of their idea. Okay. Okay. I'd probably put the king on g7 if I was black. King f8. Put this guy here. Let's say h5. And then like queen e7. Connect the rooks, try to bring the queen to d6. It's not fun, but feels like we don't lose right away. And game continues. And at this point, that's kind of the best that I think black can ask for. Just keep the game going. Connect the rooks. Get the pieces out. I feel like this is kind of the best we could do. If h6, I'd be very happy. Be very happy with h6. Because then the king is at least safe. And then we're not getting mated anymore. And then we can start getting our counterplay going. Knight e8, knight d6, rook c4, b5, rook c8, knight f5, knight takes d4. Knight h5 is fine. Knight h5, you know, I congratulate you on knight h5, but then what? But then what? Guys, I'm not saying black's position is good. I feel like people are like analyzing. Like, I'm not saying I'm not saying black's position is good. I'm just trying to come up with the best that we can do given the situation. Let's be clear, okay? I'm not trying to say like, not trying to say black is better. Okay, but it's still a chess game. And, you know, if I was playing FIDE 2139, I certainly wouldn't be resigning here. I'd be playing King F8 and forcing them to win. This kind of seems like the thing to do. It's also possible to try to bring the king over to the queen side. It's just very difficult. It feels like a Tetris situation, right? And I was never very good at Tetris, so it's not my favorite thing to do Tetris during the game. And I'm just very concerned. If we go queen e7 too early here, white goes rook e1. And then, you know, we got to watch out for tactics. f4, f5. It just feels like we're not going to be in time here. Yeah, so this is the live position here. 21 minutes for Alex, 59 minutes for the opponent. So very, very serious time pressure coming up for Alex. But what can you do? The position has been difficult, and yeah, that's going to lead to time pressure. If you have a tough position, generally should be spending time to figure it out. Yeah, the board is about 15 minutes behind, I think, on delay. G7 square looks safe, not gonna lie. Why would you lie about that? Why would that be something that you would lie about? It's on G3, not gonna lie. 18 minutes here for Alex. She goes knight b6. Okay, knight b6 is a very reasonable move. Looking to reposition the knight to c4. Or activate. Now things are gonna get tough. F4 would be my first candidate here for white, followed by h5. Rook e1 is also possible to bring this one in. But f4 kind of feels like more incisive, because then you can play h5 whenever and try to take on g6. So that's why I wanted to get the king to g7. Is b3 too weakening? Yeah, I just think that white should be thinking more actively. Like, you could play b3, but when we're attacking here, the first instinct should be to, like, try to push forward. Of course, it's natural to be a little bit concerned about this one, but white can always just play b3 here. And then the knight really doesn't want to go to b2. Let's say knight d6 back, and then h5, and then, yeah. Here it seems like white is getting the attack in, and it's not clear if we had to play b3 earlier or not. So yeah, I would expect this, because this feels like just the most dangerous plan for black, opening up the h-file, trying to get a rook to the h-file, rook h1, rook h8, win the queen, right? So this seems like the plan. Knight d1's interesting. You can try to bring the knight here, because it does feel like white has time for this. And then knight f6 would be a pretty big problem. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised at all if we saw knight d1 at some point. Because that definitely is a very logical maneuver, I would say. And then like you can always play c3. Yeah. But okay, a lot of options for white. That's kind of the one thing going for Alex, is that white has a lot of good options. So, you know, if he only had like one obvious good move, then he would just play it. But if he has several good moves, then at least he can spend some time. You know, the stress level starts going up. At a certain point, we might start hoping for a mistake. But yeah, I'm still a long ways away from that. Okay, he's reaching. Okay, f4 played. So yeah, he does go for just the most direct plan. And yeah, now again, just defending this one so that way I can get h5 in. And what to do? I think Alex's idea was to go knight c4, but we'll see. If queen d6, that definitely forces white to deal with the threat. Probably queen goes somewhere, maybe queen f3. Yeah, I definitely think we should start with queen d6. Or maybe just knight e2, actually. I think knight e2 could be quite reasonable, because we don't want to allow knight c4 with any kind of tempo. So I would expect this one, and then try to get h5 in next. Yeah, king can go to d7. That's true. Let's say king d7. Okay, queen d6 on the board. So we're probably going to see something like this, actually. Probably going to see this. So queen d6 hitting the pawn. That makes sense to me. Maybe he'll go king e3, alpha 0 style. And then knight c4, and then black will be better. Let's hope for that. No promises, but let's hope for that. Okay, he's reaching. He's reaching. He already had a move in mind. King f3. Whoa. King f3. Okay. Okay. King f3 gives me some hope. King f3 gives me some hope. Because this king is out and about. I'm not saying our king is safe, but his king is kind of out and about. Now I feel like, you know, I'm sniffing some potential, you know, like there's something in the position, you know? Not saying right away, but maybe eventually. Yeah, because there's still a lot of pieces in the board. Still a lot of pieces. Okay, maybe king d7, like we were wondering. Knight c4, yeah, just runs into b3. And then I don't think we'd want to take this one, because... Well, actually, hold on. We can take, because knight b5. I take it all back, knight b5. So why not knight c4? Why not knight c4? Oh, played. Let's go. No, I like this, guys. I like this. Knight c4. Let's start creating some threats. Now we do have a little check in the position. I don't think this king f3 feels right. Well, I know it doesn't feel right. I know how it feels. But I don't think it was the best. I should have played b3. You know, b3 was probably better than f4 in king f3. f4 and knight e2 I think would have been fine still. But yeah, b3 I think, I mean, I don't know for sure yet. Still maybe too early to say, but b3 would have at least stopped all this. Okay, but f4, this is on the board. This is on the board. And okay, white's thinking about it. There is rook b1. Then black will have to come up with some move. Knight on c7 can still go to b5, so this is still an option. And then there's a secondary plan of king d7, knight e8, knight g7. Which if we had time for would be very nice. Like if we can put a piece on h5, then I would really, really not mind black's position. So if rook b1, I don't see any tactics. Maybe king d7, and then playing for this plan. But still h5. This is going to be the problem, h5. Okay, still white to play. Hasn't made a move yet. Though other than rook b1, because yeah, b3 here takes, knight comes back, black gets counterplay. So, white to play here. White to play. Let's see what he does. Only 15 minutes for Alex. This is the problem with the time trouble. It's like, oh, position might be kind of interesting now, but she doesn't have a lot of time to figure it out. Yeah, rook b1 on the board. Now black has to keep it going. Gotta keep it going. Knight b5, I don't see b3 working here for white. I still think black can take on a3 there. So this is possible. With knight b5, I would think the response would be take, and then c3. And just trying to keep everything very stable. And then looking to advance with h5 next. And we're down a pawn, but yeah, position would kind of continue. It would be healthy pawn up for white, though. So not the best position. Not the best position. Okay, 14.5 minutes for Alex. Gonna have to make a move here for too long. But let's go to live position. This is live position here. We were thinking knight b5. Maybe, I think king d7 would probably be my choice. I feel like this leaves some more chances for black. So what I'm hoping for here is to move the rooks over and yeah, run with the king to b8. Yeah. So maybe here, for example, king d7. Let's say h5. Rook f8. Okay, hear me out. Takes. Takes. Let's say rook takes. I know this hangs b2, but somehow knight takes feels weird. Pawn takes. You know, we get something like this. We get something like this. This hangs, b2 hangs. Okay, you can take with the knight as well. You can also take with the knight, but I don't know if it clarifies everything. Knight e2. e5. No, this is unclear. This is unclear, right? This would be something. Knight comes to e6. Yeah. Yeah, maybe we could have just played FG anyway. That's true. Could have played like this as well. Maybe this is easier. Okay, we have a move. King d7. King d7 on the board. Let's go. King d7. Alex on fire. So h5, this feels like maybe a good chance. Of course, there's always going to be h6, but h6, f6, you know? This also is unclear. So h5, rook f8. Yeah, this could be a chance, guys. This could be a chance. Okay, rooting for this. Rooting for this. Yeah, counterplay, exactly. Clock isn't great for us. Time control is 90 plus 30. Right now, white has 50 minutes. And running down, you know, very quickly running down. 12 and a half minutes for Alex. But if she sees this rook f8, f6 idea, I mean, you know, it could be anyone's game. And then e5, of course. Yeah. If we get a chance, e5, fg. Yeah. Lots of ideas here. Yeah, now king is going to be safe on the queen side. Yeah, absolutely. So h5 hasn't been played yet. I wonder if he's now thinking about it, because it does feel like a very long. I mean, this is what white is. Everything white has done has been to play h5, right? Because he played f4 to defend this one, and then king f3, and now it's like all coming down to this. But rook f8, f6 comes. Yeah, now he's like, why is my king on f3? Why didn't I just castle queenside? Yeah, exactly. All right, folks, maybe a good time to remind you guys, go follow AlexandraChess. She is a streamer playing an OTB event. We are helping her here at the dojo. Join us in following. And if you guys are watching on AlexandraChess's channel, go follow the dojo. Chess Dojo. Hey, Zonibak. You know, we got 2 alert boxes going, folks. 2 alert boxes. When are you going to ever get the chance to make multiple alerts? Okay, I think we gotta move. Almost. He's reaching. I feel like he wants to go h5. h5. Ah, the hesitation. The hesitation. Play it. No, knight d1. Oh, reverting to the other plan. Knight d1. Knight d1's probably better. Yeah, knight d1's probably better here. So we were looking at this plan earlier. Knight g4, bring the knight to f6, e5. It's probably a good plan. Yeah, we got a little optimistic there. We were hoping for this counterplay. But we still have time to get the king out. I do think that was wise from white's point of view, not to start opening up the king side while black's pieces are evacuating. Absolutely. Well, what to do? I think you got to go rook f8. Knight f2. And f6. That seems critical right now. 12 minutes for Alex, but this would be my first instinct. Rook f8. Now you can always get the king out, and then f6. And then, okay, it's only 1 pawn. White's king is on f3. I mean, what are we talking about, guys? What are we talking about? That would be very playable. But the time is going to be a problem. Time is always a factor. I feel like we're on time factor. Welcome to time factor, where time is always a factor. Here, knight b5, I'm not sure. Unless we're trying to get the knight to like d6, but I think we really need to be trying to open up the f line. I think this is black's big chance in the position. Okay, less than 11 minutes for Alex. Yeah, very, very tough with the clock. Very tough, especially because white has more time. If her opponent had like 15 minutes and she had 10, then great. Okay, it's going to be very, very sharp fight. But white has a lot of time to figure it out if he needs to spend some time calculating something. So that's the problem. Yeah, Sphinxy, I don't think that line works because of the play on the f file. We can put it on the board. Let's say here, here, f6, here, takes. Because if knight e5, we still have the pressure on the f file. So we're just taking, and everything is, so it's just not in time for white. Come on, Alex, go rook cf8. Do it. Do it. I feel like she wants to. I mean, if once you play king d7, of course, the intention has to be to get your rook in. So I feel like rook f8 is very possible. f6 immediately is possible as well. But I was thinking it's probably better to bring the rook in first because we'll need it anyway. King on f3 not looking great. Yeah, I agree. I agree. Yeah, imagination in chess. I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan. I mention it quite often. So, yeah, big secret there. I'm pretty sure I mentioned it like during that show. As well, that the puzzles are from that book. But yeah, big reveal. So f6 could be playable. Because yeah, queen g6, knight d2 check, that's a full rook. I don't think white wants that. So you could just play f6 here. I think it's pretty similar to starting with rook f8. Yeah, no, f6 I think is very reasonable. But 7.5 minutes for Alex. Whew, not a lot of time. This is a situation where it's like you just have to trust your gut. It's like f6 feels like the right move, rook f8 feels like the right move. It's like you just have to play it and go. Yeah, I kind of like f6 a little bit more because you can also play for e5 here as well. So you don't just have rook f8. You can play for e5 too. Oh man, it's 7 minutes for Alex. So she's now down 40 minutes on the clock, which is a lot. And she's still thinking. She's still... Oh man. Yeah, the time usage is too much. That's the big thing to work on, for sure. Oh no, 6 minutes. She's like deep in thought. This is not like, guys, when you have 6 minutes, you're not deep in thought anymore. You know, you're just like you just gotta focus and choose. You gotta choose a direction. Yeah, you gotta make a move. Because the thing is, it's like, look, black's position it's not clear actually. Black might be fine, but thing is, if black is okay, if black has any chance, it has to be f6. It has to. Like f6, rook f8. There's nothing else. Ooh, queen b6 played. Oh no, I don't like this. I don't like this. Well, at least she made a move, so that's good. But better some move than nothing. But yeah, I think this is looking at the wrong side of the board. This was definitely the play. It's possible she just didn't realize like that this is an idea. Like g6 is hanging, so she's thinking f6 is not an option and missing knight d2. I'm not sure, but yeah, queen b6. It's, I don't know, putting some pressure, but I think maybe wants to go knight d6, which is fair enough. I mean, that's a good plan, but yeah, I just feel like we had better options at this point. But well, now a lot of time for white. She's setting up queen takes d4. Well, I don't see how exactly this would work, because knight b5, c3 is always going to be a thing, and yeah. Do I think knight e3 bothered her? No, that doesn't seem too bothersome to me. But I do think she wants to bring the knight to I mean, knight is well placed on d6. Or maybe she's looking at knight b5 and trying to put some pressure. But yeah, I don't know. I would not be going pawn grabbing here. Yeah, I liked rook f8 and f6 as well, but I think she clearly missed something or underestimated something about the plan, which happens, unfortunately. Sometimes our hero doesn't make the best moves, and we just have to live with it. Things are definitely still unclear, but the time is a big issue. The clock is a very big issue now, because it's not a lot of time to calculate. We've used up all of our calculating time, and now we just have to rely on our moves, on our instincts. Yeah. So 5 minutes, 45 seconds for Alex, 44 minutes for White. White to play, White's move here. Yeah, knight b5 is kind of a threat right now, but of course White has a move to deal with it. So I think White's next move here was going to be like knight f2, for example. And then if knight b5 now, c3, then I don't think this is working. So that's kind of the issue with this knight b5. Yeah. So no, I think White's doing really well now. I mean, I think knight f2, knight g4, knight e5 is a very clear plan. You can play c3 at some point. Whoa, whose chat is that? Yikes. Okay, following since 18 seconds ago, huh? Yep. It's gonna be a ban. It's gonna be a ban. Okay, well, yeah, lots of time here. And this is the issue for Alex. You have 5 minutes, you have to stay like focused and nervous, you have to be ready. White can make a move at any second. Meanwhile, he is like 40 minutes, you know, he can relax, stretch out, chill. Just enjoy thinking about the position. But knight f2 seems logical. Knight f2, I feel like. But we'll see. We'll see what he does. Does White have f5? f5 is a move to reckon with at some point. Yeah, as earlier White didn't get the chance to sacrifice the piece. So f5 would be a piece sack. But yeah, probably it's not quite working here yet. What about h5? Yeah, h5 we've been thinking about for a while. h5 definitely White is looking to play. eventually. Yeah, king on f3. King on f3. Okay, 37 minutes. We're catching up, folks. We're catching up. We're almost there. we're almost even. Meanwhile, Anamaya is looking okay. I can only see a small view of her position, but it looks like she has a very good knight against bad bishop and nice endgame. Honestly, looks completely winning for her. Okay, folks, I think time for a break for me before we get into the final portion of the game. We got to stretch those legs again. We'll leave the game on. We'll be right back and yeah, catch the rest soon. Hey, thanks for following. See you guys in a bit. Oh, sorry, muted. Thank you. All right, let's catch up. So after queen b6, I think it was knight e3, takes, queen takes, knight b5, c3, because c pawn was hit. Knight went to d6, and then h5 played, looks like. gh5, and now knight takes h5 on the board. Are we taking a draw from this game? That would be the hope, Sharoni. That would be the hope. Because we're pawn down and clock situation, of course, not very good. 33 minutes for white, 4 minutes for Alex, and under 4 minutes now as she's thinking here. Okay, knight e4 played. It's still a complicated position. Knight f5 was also possible, but I think she did not like the idea of queen e5, knight f6 check. This looked very, very scary, right? So knight e4, covering f6, activating the knight, and it's only one pawn for white, so yeah, it's only one pawn. Not a great position, but some chances here for black. But yeah, the clock situation, of course, is tricky. 4 minutes, 18 seconds for Alex. 30 minutes for white, right? So he has a lot of time to figure out what to do here. But easy to blunder, you know. Any rook move here, rook h2 runs into like rook c3, knight c3 stuff. So it's very easy to blunder here. We're on move 31. There's no second time control, so that's it. It's just 90 plus 30, right, for the whole game. So it's just going to be time pressure from now on, which is not fun. You know, it's like Alex basically has to stay focused for the next half hour. And then some, maybe. We'll see. White to play here. Yeah, he's up a pawn. Knight on e4 is good. And not so obvious what white should do here. He could start trading, like knight g3, for example. But knight g3, there's some questions with the b2 pawn. Can take here, take here. And if king takes rook, pawn would hang. But if rook takes h8 first, then we can either take the h-file or, no, we can't throw this in because of queen e5 defending the rook. But we can take, king takes, and then we'd have the open h-file, and for only one pawn, you know, it's not going to be super easy for white to convert this one if we defend stubbornly. So Knight g3 doesn't really look great. Knight f6 is also out because I think we can just take it. I really don't think this is that easy for white. I think Alex has managed to find a defense. So her plan, this like queen b6 maneuver, maybe wasn't that bad. Queen b6, knight d6. I remember we were looking at this a lot. I still would have much preferred rook f8 and f6. Then I think the position would have been really unclear. In fact, black could be doing well, but okay, like we're in the game here. We are in the game. Knight's on e4. So definitely a lot to play for. And white's under 30 minutes. So we're on the way. Hopefully one day we can think about catching up. Hey, Patserville, it's hard to double the rooks right now just because of tactics in the position. So if white moves the rook off of h2, black is going to have knight c3, for example, or rook c3 maybe. So it's hard for white to achieve this. Yeah, this pressure on b2 is kind of annoying. Yeah, white has some issues to solve here for sure. So what to do? What to do? Not so easy. Not so easy. Yeah, it's like, where's white's move? Knight g3, you know, we already looked at. Black can take on g3 and then take on h1. What about c4? Ooh, c4 could be a move. c4 could be dangerous. Because c4, if rook takes c4, then there's knight f6 check. Right? Bishop pair, tricky, tricky. And then we would lose the exchange. We'd have to play some position like this, which granted, you know, maybe still isn't super clear, but probably should be good for white, right? Like g6, just start opening up the lines. But I'm not totally sure. So c4 could be a move, yeah. c4 could be very annoying. Because we don't want to let white take. Queen b3 is kind of a funny move. But problem is we are down a pawn, so we end up in this endgame and the knight f6 is coming, so I'm not sure, I'm not sure. But this line might not be super clear. Takes, knight f6 check, takes here, and then knight e4. And then, yeah, past pawn's pointing out rook c3 is a move here, because then queen b1 would be some pretty serious counterplay. So, yeah. Hey, Ulan, thanks for the gifted sub. Much appreciated. So this could still be very complicated. I'm not sure exactly what's going on here. Because White's king is still pretty weak. And Black has ideas. Even Rook C2, Rook F2 check. I mean, this is a check, you know? And checks can be very dangerous. Checks and captures. I don't know if you guys know about this. Checks and captures. Hey, thanks for giving a sub to AlexandraChess. Much appreciated. Okay, game is very critical now. 24 minutes for White. And Alex, she's focused. Trying to stay ready for whatever happens. Looks like he's looking to make a move. What's the move? Rook H2? Rook H2 played. Uh-oh. Did he calculate something? Rook H2. Because I feel like if we take on C3, there could be something like Knight F6 check, but I don't actually... I'm not sure what's happening here. So hold on, Knight C3. Rook C3 also possible. But Rook C3, the problem is at the end there's Knight F6 check, right? So there's this. But we have checks here. We have some, no, actually I think king kind of escapes. So yeah, this would be an issue. Takes here, check. And I'm actually not sure we're getting enough here. For example. So this is one line to calculate. The other move is knight takes c3. But knight c3, White can throw this check in. King goes somewhere. And then yeah, I don't know if this is working because there's BC and there's rook takes rook. Yeah, it's not really about sacrificing a knight. This is just a concrete calculation. And yeah, she's spending her time here. I mean, not a lot of time, but you have to calculate because it looks like something's hanging on c3. But yeah, honestly, man, I'm not sure it even works. So rook h2 might have been a very strong move because I think White might have realized all these things on c3 don't really pan out for Black so easily. Check. I think we can take though. Hold on. I think we can take knight f6, king here, rook takes rook, rook takes. And then if pawn takes knight, of course, queen is still hitting the rook. And if queen takes, we've got rook h3. I think we can do knight c3. I don't see what White has here actually. Just check, king here. If bc, queen takes b1. Knight takes d5, I'm actually not like super worried about this. Our king gets out and we're up the exchange. You know, our king can run. And we have the exchange and we have checks. Knight c3, I'm saying, I think might be good for Black. And we don't have a lot of time, you know, less than 1 minute for Alex. So go knight c3. Oh, she went rook c3. Oh, I don't like rook c3. I did not like rook c3. Yeah, rook c3, I didn't think it was enough. Knight c3, I didn't see actually what white does here. This one looked... This could have been a chance for black. I think this really could have been a chance. Rook c3, the problem here is that when white takes, we go queen b1, there's knight f6 check. And whether we take or move the king, let's say even here, I don't think it's going to be enough play. King runs and queen goes to h3. This is kind of the issue with this line. So yeah, here's where more time, right, could have been very, very helpful. This is where spending an extra 5-10 minutes in the opening, like 20 minutes sometimes, really comes back to bite you, because it's like, oh, yeah, this like extra 5 minutes here, 10 minutes would have been really, really useful, right? Yeah, I think knight takes c3. I wasn't seeing the move here for white. I think this would have been the best chance. Maybe knight c3, he wanted rook h1. Maybe this was the issue. But I don't know. I don't know if this is totally working. But this might have been the problem. Maybe this was it. Maybe then knight c3 wasn't good either. It's very possible. Yeah, it's hard to say. Can't really blame her for the move. I mean, she only had a couple of minutes, and that's not even enough time for us to figure it out. So hard to blame for this one. But yeah, I think white can win the exchange here. So probably BC will be played. And then I'm guessing we'll see queen takes b1, knight f6 check, and then either takes or moving the king. Both lead to kind of similar situation, but feels like we're going to be down an exchange here at some point, and yeah, that's going to be tough to deal with. Okay, knight f6 played immediately. That also works. Because on knight takes, I think white's just going to go bc3. Okay, 35 seconds for Alex. But wait, what if you move the king? Oh, then bc3 anyway. And there's no trick for the rook takes h2, so we're just going to get the same line. Takes, and then it feels like black runs out of checks. Yeah, queen just blocks on h3. Okay. So knight takes played. Now I'm expecting, yeah, bc3 on the board. Queen takes b1 on the board. And white's going to take the rook on h8. Okay, yeah. Now the question is, can Alex get enough play here for the exchange? So it does look like the king was escaping the checks, like key line here being... But there is this one still here, although here, queen e2. Queen e2 is a problem. So check. Now there's even queen f2. So yeah, definitely seems like the king is going to be running away. But what you're looking for here as black is not immediate checks, but actually some situation like this, where your knight can activate and then the game very much continues, if we can get this in. Okay, knight e4 played with 4 seconds on the clock. Oh, so she doesn't give any checks, because then, yeah, white can tempo her queen. She just goes knight e4 immediately. Okay, this makes sense. Force white to make a move, and now we keep all of our checks in reserve. It's not the easiest position to convert for white. Like, it should very likely be winning here, but it's not 100% simple. Definitely not. Because black is going to have some checks. And some pawns. Some pawns to target as well. Yeah, I don't know. First instinct, maybe rook h2 to cover some squares. If queens come off, then yeah, white has very good winning chances, definitely. But that's kind of black's hope, is to keep the queens on the board, of course. Yeah, black is definitely trying to keep the queens on. But yeah, tough position, tough position. We'll see what he does. But yeah, my instinct would be to bring the rook back and just try to cover. We'll see. It's certainly not game over. But if white is able to cover all the threats, cover all the checks, then yeah, eventually the extra exchange should kind of make itself felt. Okay, under 20 minutes now. We're hoping for a turnaround, folks. Hoping for a turnaround. The follow notification? Oh, the graphic? We might change it. I don't know. We're very slow about changing these things. But yeah, we like to keep some relics of the old logo, because why not? Why not? You know, new logo was mainly designed for merge purposes. But, you know, we can still keep the old theme. Yeah, perpetual would be great for black, but it's really not up to us here. The question is whether white will allow perpetual. It looks like Anamaya there is winning in the background. She's got a passed H-pawn that's very strong. Her opponent's trying to generate some counterplay, but I don't think he has enough. Yeah, it doesn't surprise me black was okay at some point in this game. I definitely felt like she had good counterplay. This moment, it's a lot less clear. But I did like her position when she played knight e4. That's for sure. But no time to find the best moves. But hey, she put up a good fight, right? Out of the opening, she was under pressure. Then she gave up a pawn, and then all of a sudden things got very unclear. But of course, it's very tough when you don't have time. When you don't have time, you can't really blame yourself for not making good moves because you don't have time to find them. You don't have any time left. So it's like nothing you can do. It's like, sure, if you were, 3,500, you're like Stockfish, then yeah, you don't need a lot of time to find all the best moves. But if you're a regular human, then yeah, it's like even having a very reasonable position with no time, it's going to be tough to play. But there's still hope. 16 minutes for white here. So white is going to get into some time pressure as well. And it's not a comfortable situation. Like, you got to defend against all these checks. You got to find a square for the king. You got to figure out how to convert, Definitely won't be super easy. Okay, under 15 minutes now. White still deep in thought. Rooting for Alex here, folks. Rooting for Alex. Yeah, even Stockfish needs time to get to a certain depth. Like at least 0.5 seconds, At least 1 second. Whew. What's he gonna do? Yeah, I don't know, folks. I don't know. This queen side is kind of weak here for white, So if you go too passive, black wins the A pawn, starts running A5, A4, wins the C pawn. You never know. So I feel like white wants to keep the rook active. But it's not easy. For example, rook H7 check, right, would be a blunder. Knight takes G5. Discovery attack. Not so easy. Not so easy. Any rook move other than rook h2 is dangerous. Yeah, somehow rook h2 feels like the cleanest move here. Otherwise, you're worried about getting caught in some checks. I also feel like white's king might be safe if it made its way to like h6. So that could be the plan, like rook h2, and then try to run the king to h6, h5. Although then there's always checkmates. There's always mates in the position. So yeah, it's hard to find a super safe haven for the king. Maybe rook h2, king g4, queen f3, rook g2. Try to block everything like that. But then still, black is gonna go after these pawns, run the a pawn, a5, a4. King walks in. It's just piece for piece. It's just that white has a rook and black has a knight. And the question is whose piece is gonna be more effective. But the knight is very strong on e4. I mean, as far as compensation goes, black has plenty of compensation. Like, if this knight was on c6, I would say black is dead lost. Just like dead lost. Now on e4, it's unclear. Same knight, different square. But that's how chess works sometimes. 10 minutes, 40 seconds for white. Now the pressure is definitely starting to rise. And no one likes playing against knights. Okay, knight forks have bested many a player. So this could easily go either way. Okay, reaching, queen e2. Okay, queen e2. That's a big move. That's a big move because that's covering a lot of checks, but it's giving up the c pawn. And Alex has 30 seconds. Ooh, tricky guy sacrificing the pawn. But what does he want? I don't understand. Take the pawn, Alex. Take the pawn. I don't see it. Take the pawn. Okay, she went queen b3. Queen b3 is fine too. Queen b3 is fine. Because this is not losing sight of the pawn, and maybe she can take it more actively with the queen. Actually, I like queen b3. I didn't see anything wrong with knight takes, but okay, queen b3 played. Ooh, and rook h7. Rook h7 on the board. So takes, white wants queen e3, and then try to force a queen trade. There was also queen g1. Yeah, maybe queen g1 was a move. I mean, she only had a few seconds here. It doesn't look that convincing to me. There's minimum rook h3. So I don't see that it's like an obvious win, but I don't mind her move queen b3. Rook h7, king e7 played, and now g6 played. Oof. Yeah, king e7, g6 doesn't really help anything. This one is a problem. So queen takes c3 now on the board. Fortunately, she has to make moves. Now queen e3, I would expect. Played. And yeah, this is definitely a problem. Because we're gonna... Wait, hold on. Knight d2? King e2. Yeah, we run out of checks. Running out of checks. We would really love to not trade queens here, but... Yeah. It's tough. Queen c4 played. Okay, okay. Actually, you know what? Okay. Yeah, we keep fighting. We keep fighting. Maybe queen a1 was a try as well. Because now rook takes, king e8, then maybe we would have had more checks. Here it seems like white can take and then keep blocking. But you know what? There is counterplay. Yeah, this is not easy. Not with 11 minutes on the clock. So keep fighting, Alex. Keep fighting. He hasn't played rook takes f7 check yet. I mean, that's a very, very obvious move. But I think he's trying to calculate after king e8 what his next move is going to be, right? Because then queen f1 check is going to be a concern and more checks. But yeah. Unfortunately, the time was, I think, a very big factor here. But what to do? Chess is hard. Chess is hard, guys. You know, you don't have a lot of time to figure everything out, and then you're left with just seconds for really, really critical decisions. Unfortunately. Okay, 9 minutes 45 seconds. Very stressful against the queen and knight. Yeah, that's why I feel like this is not simple at all. Because black's knight is extremely active and on a very strong outpost. Like, this is worth a lot when you're playing with the piece against the rook. Your only chance is if you have your minor piece on a very good square and it's outposted. Because then you know it's not going to hang, you're not going to lose it. It's controlling a bunch of important squares in the position, you know, and then your queen is free to like run around and keep attacking. But I don't quite see... I guess queen will come to g2. And then if we want to defend the g-pawn, we'll have to put the king on h5. And then there's going to be queen h2 check. Yeah, actually, there's some concerns here for white. It's going to be not so easy to hold on to this g-pawn. Yeah, I agree, and I agree. I think queen a1 was a better version, but okay, shit, 30 seconds, you know. what can we do? So rook takes f7 played. Now a question of where to put the king. King goes to e8. I like king e8 because then if this pawn move, like the pawn can't move, like king d6 for example, then g7, you know, pawn. So pawn can't move, and then if the pawn ever gets taken, then rook will be under attack. So king e8 played. We have 1 minute and 11. 8.5 minutes for white. And he has to come up with a move here. But it's not easy. There's no like comfortable way to stop this one. Maybe king g2 though. King g2 actually is a problem. Check. King can like walk out. Although then we get something like this. Check. And takes here. And okay, this is now... I don't know. Maybe we maybe we got something here. Maybe we did something. Maybe we did something. Okay, queen e2 played. No, sorry, queen e1. Queen e1. Okay. So white is definitely playing for mate here, but that's going to open up the king. Because black has checks, queen takes d4 also. I feel like just take on d4 right now. And then you have a lot of moves left. Ooh, 15 seconds for Alex. I'm gonna make a move. She'll make a move. She's aware of her clock. She's either gonna give check or take the pawn. Go, go, go. All right, queen takes d4 played. He's like, why isn't she flagging? He's like, can she just flag already? Like, no, she's not flagging, dude. She is not gonna flag. All right, queen takes d4. I didn't see what white's plan was here, because if you go queen h4, I mean, there's queen d1 check. There's like a million checks. There's no way the king is getting out with the queen on h4. So I don't see. I don't see what the idea was here. Yeah, this is very unclear, guys. This is really unclear, especially in the time situation. I don't care what computer says, okay, folks? I don't care. Computer is always going to say some nonsense. Here, it's like, I mean, both sides are very nervous right now, I can tell you that. Okay, wants to make a move. Rook takes b7. Okay, so the rook gets out and threatens some checks. But rook b8, king d7, there's no mate. There's no mate. So, okay. Queen d3. Let's give some checks, Alex. Let's give some checks. 12 seconds. Let's go. Move it. Move it. All right, queen d3. Good. Jeez Louise. Queen d3. Now, where is king going? King can either go back or come up. King comes up, there's knight f6 check. Knight f6 is actually very painful. And then queen goes to either f5 or just takes the pawn. So queen e3 though, then there's queen f1. So that leaves king g2. King g2, there's queen c2 check. King h1, knight f2 check. There's a lot of checks. There's a lot of checks. No, this is counterplay. This is straight counterplay. This is like one of those chess.com puzzles. Don't you guys love those when you get this position as a puzzle? It's like white to play. You have one winning move. Good luck. Oh, he came up, king g4. Oh wait, but hold on. This line is very risky. Check, king g5. Queen f5 check. King h6. But what's going on here? Because if queen h5, king g7, we run out of checks. King h4 is possible, because queen e6 is hanging. King h4, very possible. Yeah. But king g5, yeah, I don't like queen h5 there. I think knight g4 instead, exactly. And then there's like, there's checks. I don't know what's happening, but it's very unclear. But it might, the check still might run out for us. But before we get there, we're still in this position right now. So 6 minutes for white. He has to choose between these two moves. Not even sure which one I'm rooting to see, because king h4 is a problem. There's going to be... Queen e6. Oh, so king g5. Oh, it might even be mate there. Oh, okay. That's a good line. Yeah, this one. Queen f8. Thank you. Thank you. Someone's got to do their mate in twos, huh? So check. Here maybe. We still have this check. And this check. So this this could be very, yeah, this could be pretty serious. So king h4 looks like only move. Let's go, king g5. Let's go. I don't think he's gonna play king. I think king h4 is gonna happen. Then king h4, the problem there is, yeah, maybe queen f5. Oh, queen f5, wired retro. What a move. Queen f5. This is the move, because queen takes g6, of course, is this one, and then this one, and then this one, and then that's resigns. So, queen f5. That would be the way. You guys want a better view of the clock? Let me see if I can actually. Maybe do a different capture. Yeah, I think queen f5 would be the thing. All right, I'm gonna do a secondary capture so you guys can see the clock. We're about to raise the elo of this stream by like 50 points. All right, there's the real clocks, folks. I'm sorry for the abrupt image. There we go. 3 minutes for white, 45 seconds for Alex. King h4 on the board. Okay, best move. Best move. Now queen f5. Queen f5 is what we're rooting for. 29 seconds for Alex. Yeah, queen f5 looks like absolute only move. Praise. 10 seconds, Alex. Go. Move. Queen f5 played with 3 seconds. Let's go. Let's go. Queen f5 on the board. Okay, so this is mate, folks. This is mate. Mate is threatened. Now, he does have checks. But the checks run out. The checks run out. The question is, can he defend the mate? He can. He can. I mean, there's queen e2. But this is hanging. Folks, this is like DEFCON 5 unclear now. DEFCON 5. Queen e2 we take here, and then we'll give queen h6 check. We'll take on g6 with check. And then black's like not even worse. Then we just play knight e4. We just play the position. Like we're just better. So go Alex. 2.5 minutes for white here. She could easily turn this around. You can feel her confidence. She knows she's in it. He's very frustrated. He's like, I was completely winning. I had up an exchange. How could this happen to me? But this just got super tough. Yeah, at this point, actually, I think I take black. I think I take black. Like, I don't want white's position. Are you kidding me? You kidding? We're taking black now. Alex. Go Alex. Queen g3 cuts off the escape square. So we would be, we're rooting for queen g3. We're rooting for queen g3. Queen g3 is one of ours. That's one of our teammates. I don't think it was bad time management. I actually think White spent his time very well. He had a lot of time. He just, like, he messed up the position. It wasn't an easy position. Like, he miscalculated. But I think his time usage was quite good, actually, because he had tons of extra time and a good position. Like, he was completely winning on the board. Queen d1 is a move. Queen d1 covers the checks, but then black is going to go queen takes f4. Queen takes f4. King goes up. Queen h6 check. Then we take on g6 with check. White's losing all the pawns, and black is going to have two very strong pawns in the center. Active queen, active knight. It's still unclear. It's still unclear position, but I think it's very promising. And he's down to 40 seconds now. He understands, of course. It's a very, very dangerous situation. Yeah, 30 seconds for white. Of course, he's going to get it back. He has a 30-second increment. But yeah, they're basically just playing on increment now. Okay, 15 seconds. But Alex has been playing on increment for like 45 minutes, right? So she's cool. She's in the zone. He is just starting his blitz game, right? He has not adjusted to this new situation yet. Okay, queen e2 played. They both have 33 seconds. Insane. What a position. What a position. Okay, here, I think there's nothing to do other than queen takes f4. Yep. He's going to go king h3 fast. Now you got to write your move down before you make your next move. But queen h6, queen takes g6 with check. These are automatic moves. Let's go. Let's go. All right, the trend is on our side, folks. King g2 played. Let's take this one with check. All right, both players, yeah, they understand these moves are forced, so they're playing them quickly. And now, okay, he put the king on f1. Puts the king on f1. I actually thought king h1 was better, because king f1 allows queen f5 check. But he might be trying to trade queens here. The endgame is totally fine for white. In fact, it might even be good for white, because endgame allows him to pick up the a-pawn, and he's going to be very safe in the endgame. So he's still wanting that endgame. But we have knight e4. Knight e4 looks like a move here. I think knight e4. Knight e4, you block the queen, you threaten knight g3, and then you get ready to get the queen in more effectively. Yeah, like knight e4. Okay, queen f5 played. So yeah, queen f2, we can keep giving checks, but the problem is at this point, I don't know if we're playing for a win or not. I kind of feel like, I mean, draw is still a great result for Alex, but I kind of think, you know, black is the one that could very well be pushing. So yeah, I kind of like knight e4, as I mentioned a couple times. So now check. I think white goes queen f2, tries to bail out into the endgame. And then hopefully we keep giving checks. Thanks, Katie. Thanks. Yeah, queen f2, queen d3 check. And then maybe we just get some kind of perpetual. I mean, I think at this point it's going to be very hard for white to play on. Even though I imagine, you know, he still wants to. He's the higher rated player, but yeah, I think we can at least just give perpetual. King e1 played. King e1 is pretty ambitious. But now there's no checks. This knight e4 could be played. Now there's no more checks. But you can just activate the knight with knight e4. It's a very tricky situation because, of course, black's king is in danger too. But white needs 2 moves to give mates. Oh, but this is what he wants. He wants queen h2. Ah, sneaky guy. Sneaky guy. This is why I wanted knight e4. I felt like knight e4, we're going to have more options with the queen. But here, knight e4, queen h2, we might be stuck. Okay, 20 seconds for Alex. Queen h3 played. Okay, queen h3 I think is good. I like queen h3 because now we have a lot of checks and we don't let white play this sneaky queen h2 thing. Yeah, even if the knight got to c5 in that endgame, I still would be unhappy with it because rook just sits on a7, knight sits on c5, and then it's very tough for black because like white's king starts to come in, our king is cut off. So I'm very skeptical of any endgames where our king is cut off by the rook. Do we have perpetual after queen takes a6? So yeah, this is the thing about this position. At any point, if white wants to go nuclear and go queen takes a6, he's like, all right, either you give me perpetual or I'm giving you checkmate. I would assume white does have, or black does have a lot of checks because it's a very open king. Okay, we have queen e5 instead. Ooh, queen e5. Queen e5 might be a little nasty. Oh boy. Oh boy, this game is wild. The king is just running now. The king is just running. But we have knight e4 check. We have a lot of checks. I don't know. Black might even be winning. Who knows? Queen h1 played. I mean, this rook is hanging. There's knight e4. Who knows? Who knows? King e2 maybe is the safer approach. I think we're going to see king e2. Not to let the knight in with tempo. King f2, I praise Jesus, guys. King f2, I praise Jesus. But I think, yeah, king e2. King e2. King e2 on the board. Queen g2 check. That seems logical. Okay, king e3, I praise Jesus, folks. King e3, we praise Jesus. Come on, one time. One time. King e3, bring all the pieces to the buffet. Bring all the pieces to the buffet so they can get forked. Bring all the pieces to the buffet. No, probably king goes... Okay, king d1. King d1. Knight d7 was a move at some point, yeah, when the pawn was defended. But the problem with knight d7, it's very passive. White can still continue actively, and you're still going to have to try to give check. So I think this was the better try. Now there's still queen f1 check. 45 seconds for Alex. Queen g4 also possible. Queen f3. These positions are really tough. It's really hard to find the right checks. But queen f1 makes sense because we have the c4 square. So we're still just trying to calculate. We're trying to find a circuit. Can we find a lot of checks for the queen? The problem is white might be escaping to the queen side. It's going to the b2 square. Queen c4, king b2 now. And then there would be no checks. There'd be no checks here. And then this would be a big problem. So we have to avoid this. We have to avoid this. Maybe queen g2 here. Oh, I think the checks are running out. Oh, I don't like how this is going. Don't like how this is looking. Because now the knight's not getting in at any points. And yeah, it seems like the king is going to be able to run out. Okay, queen c4 played with 5 seconds, but now king b2. Now how do you stop mates? Oh, this is not good. This is not good. Ooh, 17 seconds. Like 97, just queen e6. Yeah, I think it's over. I think it's over now. It was very tough, guys. I mean, it's time pressure, right? It's hard to find the move. 5 seconds for Alex. I think it's it. I think that's it. Queen c8 played, but this is gonna be a simple response. Yeah, and I think she's gonna resign. Yeah, sorry folks. Very, very tough one. Very close. Sometimes it hurts more to lose like this than if you just lose like out of the opening. It's like you had chances. She definitely had her chances there. 100%. 100%. But it's so hard to find the right moves with no time. So hard. So rook b8. Queen takes is played. Queen takes. All right, she's going to try a little bit with the knight and 2 pawns, but it's kind of just based off inertia. He's going to pick up the 8 pawn, and yeah, queen is just way too strong. The knight and 2 pawns, they can't really do much. Yeah, I think what she should have done earlier was at this point, play knight e4. People are still talking about the queen trade. There's actually never a chance to just trade queen. Like, we were thinking about this position, and then maybe black should trade. I was thinking no, but white didn't even give that chance. After queen f5, white played king e1. And yeah, this endgame I think would have been difficult. I felt like this was the best chance here, like getting the knight in, because the queen will always have checks, especially this queen f6 check, and then here it seems like black has a lot more room for counterplay. I think this was it. No, she fought really hard. Yeah. No, she played well. It's just the time trouble. I think it's too much, of course. It's again, not easy to find moves when you don't have a lot of time on the clock. You know, as most tournament players understand. Billy says 97 was missed. Yeah, I was thinking about 97 at this moment, right after queen e5. But this is such a hard move to play, you know, because you're deactivating the knight, and then white can still, you know, keep the attack going, and then you still have to figure out the checks, queen g7. So I don't think this is like easy. I think black is probably still in huge trouble here. It doesn't look simple at all. You know what happens, folks? It happens. Look, I don't know who needs to hear this, but sometimes they just don't play the best moves, you know, especially with no time. That's unfortunately how it goes. Let's try to keep up with the board. Oh man, we did so much analysis. We're like way far away. Where are we at? Here. All right, we had this. Takes, king went up. Check, 97, takes. This was played here. This was played. I think we missed a move somewhere, because a4 is already on the board. It doesn't matter. Oh wait, a4, knight f6. Okay, that's the position. a5, and yeah, it's probably going to be resigns here soon. Yes, Vartanan, I see your comment. You don't have to write the same thing several times. I don't think it makes sense though, because there was no endgame option. Yeah, if we're comparing this to an endgame where we're down in exchange, of course, the exchange is a lot better for us. But I think we had a better option where we could have just kept the queens on the board and had the attack going. But thank you for repeating your very smart comments multiple times. Yeah, no, down the exchange, it was very tough. I mean, past a pawn is still strong. Yeah, yeah. But I understand rook is not as good as the queen. I think we all agree with that. What type of game would have more time after 40 moves? So there are different time controls where you get more time after move 40. Depends on just the tournament, what they want to do. What do you mean, MG Birdo? What do you mean? Okay, D3 played. King C3. Yeah, no checks, no forks. Pawns are going to get stopped. And of course, white's a pawn is too strong. E4. I think Alex is just playing because she had chances earlier and she feels it. You know, she's like, I had it. I had it. But, yeah. Sometimes when it's like you feel close, it's like, it's hard to resign the game. A6, 20 seconds. Yeah, it's going to be two queens. Yeah, I just don't like it when people repeat the same thing like over and over again. It's just kind of annoying. Because then I have to read it over and over again. Okay, there's the resignation. Yeah, GG. Well, the opponent, I mean, I think he played well given the situation. Like, obviously made some mistakes. He let Alex back in, but then he managed to find some very accurate king moves in the end to convert it. So GG. GG to Alex. She also fought hard, had some chances, but it was not to be. Yeah, no hope of a mouse slip anymore. That's right. That's right. Yeah. Unfortunate. There was no handshake? I didn't actually see the camera. I feel like I saw something out of the corner of my eye. No, I saw it. I saw it. If I don't respond to a comment, it could be a million reasons. Maybe I'm in the middle of a different thought, or maybe I just don't think it's worth responding to, or maybe it's like a blunder. You know, so I don't. Oh, but I did respond to it. I said like multiple times, like endgame would have been very tricky for black, and I like the decision to keep the queens on the board. It just didn't work out concretely, but yeah. Anyway. Bartnon, I think you had like another comment on our YouTube video that I was kind of unhappy with. I'm assuming it's you because it was the same username, but it was like really kind of nasty and unnecessary on our latest vid. Yeah, I didn't like that at all. Yeah, sometimes people will like comment a blunder and then I can see that it's a blunder and I'm sure they're going to figure it out in 2 seconds that they just blundered, and then there's no point in like there's no point in calling them out. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, let's get the headphones in. I think we might be able to soon. And yeah, we'll get to hear her thoughts on the game. I'm sure she's disappointed, but hopefully not feeling too terrible about it.
Kostya, can you hear me?
Hey, how's it going? Oh,
I think you are
I'm
muted.
still muted. Hello, how's it going?
Don't know.
Sorry about your game. Yeah, I know it was tough, but you were very close. I mean, it was very
Yeah,
close at the end.
yeah. I don't know if that sacrifice it was okay. I think it was the best for me. I didn't like. Ah, no la tengo yo. No, no 26.
¿Y la 25?
Ella. Ana.
¿Ana?
Sí. Ana.
Sí. I delivered. Yes.
Okay. Sorry about that.
No, you're
I'll be
fine. No
there.
worries.
Yeah, I don't know if that Brooks sacrifice was okay or not, but I didn't like how he was like pressuring me slowly. So I saw Knight check, but I was hoping he didn't see it and he saw it. Yeah.
No, I mean it's a good fight. I think you definitely no, for sure you had chances. I mean the game was extremely messy later on, but yeah, probably he could have played better as well. But that I mean that's why you take risks and you put pressure because it's not easy to find the right moves. You know, so
Yeah. At the end, it was somehow draw, and I didn't see where to check.
right.
Yeah, I don't know. It was a better like check. I don't know like.
Yeah, we weren't
for-
sure either.
Ah.
I guess I was thinking maybe you could have played 94 at some point, like
Yeah.
before the queen has a
Yeah.
chance to get in. But you
Yeah,
had to
good
play on the
idea.
increment for a while, right? It's not easy.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think it was a good game.
Oh, it was a really interesting game. Yeah, absolutely.
I am so sorry. I was nervous at the end, and when I checked there, I didn't see I didn't have any more checks, and I didn't have time to think, so I just wandered my queen, keeping my queen.
Oh yeah. I
Yeah.
think yeah, it was already after queen e5. I think it looked really tough. I couldn't find defense there.
Yeah, but you are right. The best was knight in the center, so just in case the knight can help
Yeah,
in the
maybe
other side of the board.
that might have been the best try, but still good fight.
Thank you.
Very good fight.
Yeah, I'm a little bit sad.
You got 2 more games.
Yeah, 2 more games. Wow, this is so fast. Yesterday I started today. Well, not today. Tomorrow, or the day after tomorrow is over. Yeah, I'm excited. I will try to win the next game.
For sure.
Yeah. For a moment, I thought like I had it, and I offered draw. He didn't want it.
Oh, you offered a draw?
Yeah.
What? When?
When I was almost checkmate, when I played queen, threatening checkmate.
Queen f5, you offered a draw?
Yeah.
It's a good draw.
It was there, yeah.
No, I mean, I think you're not worse there. I wouldn't offer a draw because I thought you were better at that point.
I was not sure.
Probably draws better. That's funny.
Okay.
Alright. Well, we'll let you go. Best of luck tomorrow.
Thank you. I will go to have dinner now. I think everyone finished. Anna is there speaking. with her chat.
Anna won, right? We were
Yeah,
watching a
she
bit.
won.
That's
Yeah.
good. That's good.
Yeah, thank you everyone for watching. Thank you for subscribe and the gift early in the morning. I didn't see it. Thank you, Kostya too.
Yeah, absolutely. Have a good one. We'll see you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow. Bye. Bye.
Bye-bye.
See you. Thank you.
All right, folks, there you have it. So she seemed to be in all right spirits. Clearly a bit disappointed about the game. How could you not be after such a fight? But that's how it goes.